Hello everyone, good afternoon, and you're welcome back to my channel. I hope everyone is doing all right. Before I go on to today's topic, I just want to quickly say, if you haven't subscribed, well, first of all, welcome to my old and new subscribers, and for those of you who haven't subscribed to my channel yet, please do so, and do not forget to hit the notification bell so that to notify you when I upload new videos. And to those of you who are already subscribed and keep coming back to watch, thank you so much. I love you. Mwah. Right, to today's topic, the question for today is, what do you do, or what is expected of you when you are going for a teaching interview? Now, I suppose this video has to be some sort of two parts video. So what's expected of you face to face, and what is expected of you online, okay? Because they're two different things, and they work out differently. So it probably has to be a two-part video to this, but I'm going to be addressing one part in this video now of it. And I think for most of my subscribers, it's basically going to be an online interview, because some of you are abroad and all of that, and you're trying to get into teaching here in the UK. So first thing first, what is expected of you for a teaching interview? Now, the number one thing I would like to say, sorry, I'm sweating because I'm in my car trying to make this video, and it's very, very hot. The kids are in the house with their friends, so it's going to be difficult to try and find somewhere quiet to do the videos. I have to do it in my car. So what is expected of you? Number one, first of all, is if you're going to be teaching a lesson. Now, this is if you have to be teaching a lesson, okay? Now, again, every teaching interview will have to have some teaching aspect to it, because of course they need to see that you can teach and that you have the skills necessary for the job. So the first thing, probably, if you're going to be teaching a lesson, the first thing that they want you to do, or that's expected of you, is to prepare your lesson plan. Basically, know what it is that you're teaching, okay? Because it's a teaching interview, they might tell you, oh, teach this, teach that, or you're going to be teaching the year one class. Can you teach about a fraction? So make sure that you understand what it is that you've been asked to teach, and that you are very, very clear on what it is, okay? So you don't want a situation whereby they ask you to teach fractions and then you end up teaching numbers, okay? So number one, make sure that you understand exactly what it is that they've asked you to teach. Now, some schools will tell you, right, prepare a year two lesson, a maths lesson on multiplication and division. So they might be explicit. They might tell you multiplication, dividing two numbers by a one digit, or they might tell you multiplication 10 times table, something. So they might be a bit more specific in exactly what they want you to teach. And others might say, well, you are planning for a year two class, so you know the ages of the children, so we want you to prepare a maths lesson for this age, okay? So now it's up to you to go back and find the curriculum, choose an area that you're very certain about, you're strong on, and then prepare your lesson in that area. Now, one thing to bear in mind is it's going to be a short lesson. It's not going to be a long lesson because it's an interview. So you might basically have a 20-30 minute slot to be able to do that teaching. So now you understand, first of all, you understand what it is that you are going to be teaching. You're very, very clear on what is going to be teaching. And if you're not clear, please go back and ask questions. There is no harm. I keep saying this all the time. It's better you go back and ask questions to be clear than for you to be told one thing and then you pretend as if you understand what you've been asked to do, and on the day you make a mess of everything. Please do not be ashamed, especially when you don't know or you're not sure of something. Ask and ask and ask. That's the only way that you'll be sure, and that's the only way you don't go and make a mess, especially in a situation like this where there might be 50 people, 100 or 10 or 20 who've applied for the same job, and to give your best, then you have to be sure of what it is you're talking about. So once you're clear on what it is that you need to teach, then the second thing is you need to prepare your lesson plan. I'm just looking down because I have my my notes here. prepare your lesson plan. Now I've given or I've done a video on this, one video on my channel, so go back and look for it, on how to prepare your lesson plan for a teaching interview. Now again, they will want to see that you can teach. Okay, they want to see that you can plan. It's one thing to teach, it's another thing to plan. So they will also want to see that you can plan. So make sure you prepare your lesson plans. I'm not going to spend too much time on this because I've already talked about this in one of my previous videos. So please go back and look at that video on how to prepare your lesson plan for a teaching interview. So once you've got your lesson plan, you're clear on what you need to teach, you've got your lesson plan, then prepare your resources. Okay, again, I think I've done a video on this, or another video that I touched on this, on how to prepare your resources, okay, and how to teach, what to teach when you're preparing for a UK interview. And as I said, in the UK is a lot of hands-on. There's a lot of hands-on. For some of us who are from Africa, who the learning is not so much hands-on, then you need to prepare yourself and your interview lesson plan to be hands-on, okay, because they want to see that you can engage the children in the lesson that you'll be teaching. So it wants, let's say for instance, you are teaching a lesson on number 100. So prepare your resources. So if you know you're going to be teaching, now this is if it's a face-to-face interview. As I said, I'm going to talk about an online one as well, but this is a face-to-face one. So make sure you have plan your lesson and then plan your resources to go with that lesson. Now if you know you need a particular resource that you don't have, there's no harm in sending the school an email, or have you got this and that, I would like to use it for my interview, have you got this and that, and they'll reply you. Of course, it's always better to go with your own stuff, because another class might need that resource, so you don't want to be clashing and then they say, oh, we can't use it. So it was a good idea to go with your own stuff, but you can always email the school and ask, have you got so and so and so, I will need it for my lesson, can I borrow your instrument or your resources for this lesson? So make sure that you make sure that you prepare your resource. And if you're going to be asking the school for a resource, please send them an email ahead of time. Okay, don't send them an email a night to when you'll be doing your lesson, your interview lesson. That's not going to work. 2 days, 3 days, even a week's notice should be more than enough to let them know that you need some resources so they can prepare ahead of time for you. Now another thing is, make your learning objective clear. Okay, so if they say you're going to plan a lesson on multiplication, if they give you a vague thing area, say plan your lesson on multiplication and division for a year 2 class, now it is now up to you to go and make sure that your learning objectives are going to be crystal clear. The end objective is, okay, what do I want the children to do to learn at the end of this lesson? Okay, so if you're going to be saying, okay, we're going to be doing multiplication, we're going to be doing division, we're dividing 2-digit number by 1-digit number, or we're doing long division, or we're doing short division. So your aim is that at the end of that lesson, children should be able to do short division, right? So make sure that your learning objective is clear and simple. You don't need to jazz it up to make it look spectacular, to make it look advanced, or to make it look tricky. The simpler, the better. Simple and straightforward. This is what it is, and we're going to be teaching today. At the end of this lesson, I expect the children to be able to do this, that, and that. Simple. Okay, no big wordy grammar, not necessary. Okay, so make it tailor your learning objective for the class that you'll be teaching. If you're teaching a year 5 class, a year 6 class, tailor your learning objective to those classes, but at the same time, don't make it sound complex. Don't pack in too many things into, as I said, you might have 20, you might have 30 minutes to be able to deliver your lesson. So try and make it as clear and as crisp as possible. Now, as I said, make it simple and effective and interactive. Okay, so make your lessons simple, effective, and interactive. Create time for the children to be able to ask you questions. Create time for questions. Okay, and also create time for feedback or a plenary. So make sure it's going to be a short lesson, so make sure that you have time for a plenary to actually see what the children have understood about what you've taught in that short space of time, because again, they want to see that you have a plenary, or you have like a formative assessment where you are checking that the children have gotten what it is that you've taught for that lesson. So again, this has to do with face-to-face one. I will spend time to do the online one, but I think for me, these are the key things that you need to do. Now again, prepare a task. I did talk about this in one of my video before that. If you're going to be planning a lesson or teaching a lesson, especially for the UK, you have to prepare a task to go with that lesson. Okay, copying of notes is not something that they do in the UK. So they will copy, the children will copy notes. It wouldn't fly. Okay, so make sure there is a task, there is an activity involved with that lesson. So if you're teaching an English lesson, you might want to plan an activity or maybe a game around what you've taught, or your lesson might basically be a game. Okay, but within that game you've planned in the learning that they need to learn within that time. But make sure that there is a task, there is an activity that goes with your learning, with your lesson. For example, if you're teaching a maths lesson, I keep saying maths because maths is universal. It's the same everywhere. So if you're teaching a maths lesson, so you're teaching a maths lesson maybe on fraction. If you're going to be teaching a year 1 class maths lesson on fraction, I will probably go with an apple. Okay, so, or something that they can divide into quarters, into halves, something that's a bit more engaging. So prepare, don't just go and teach all about fraction and then don't give them any tasks. So you teach about fraction and then you give children some time to practice what you've taught. So if you're teaching them quarters, halves, and all of that, and a third, then after you're done with your teaching, then you prepare an activity. So you might tell them, okay, this is a piece of paper. I'd like you to cut this piece of paper into a quarter for me. Yeah, and then shade 1/4. Or can you cut this paper, maybe a round paper, can you cut it into a third, and I want you to shade 1/3 for me. Can you fold this paper into a quarter, and I'd like you to color in 2 quarters. So there is an activity attached to that lesson. So not just you talking to the children for 20 minutes and they do nothing. So you teach, and then within that time, you also make sure there's an activity that corresponds with the lesson that you've taught, so that the children will have some hands-on experience. So basically, these are the short things that I can remember, that I can think of. If I think of anything else, I will come back and I will make that known. But as I said, this is basically for face-to-face interview. Okay, I'm going to be doing another video for an online interview, because now online you're not really seeing the children per se. You might be teaching from a screen, so therefore you have to do things slightly differently, but that will be in my next video. Okay, I hope you've had a wonderful, sorry, I'm sweating, it is hot in here. I hope you've had a wonderful time. If you've got any questions, comments, as usual, leave them in the description box below and I will attend to those as soon as I can. And once again, I just want to remind you all and everyone else, please and please and please, can you stop sending me emails or questions about finding you a job in the UK? I have said this before, I don't have any jobs, I don't work for any agency, I don't work for any company, I don't work for any school that's advertising jobs. All I do is bring out information, because I work in the area. I just bring out information on things that you need to be aware of if you're looking to come to teach in the UK. Okay, I don't have any job to give to anyone, so please, can you stop emailing me asking for jobs, asking for me to help you? To be honest, every help that you need, I have given you every guidance that you need on this channel. All you need to do is go look through my videos, guidance on how to search for a job, where to search for a job, how to apply, all of this on my channel. So just go look for them and then spend some time, get your computer and do some search, some job search for yourself and apply. Now I can help you with things like, oh, I've got a lesson plan I need to teach, can you look at it look at it for me? Does it match? And again, because if you're sending me, sometimes I might not be able to open if you send me an attachment, I'll not be able to open it because my system sort of blocks it. If it's not a regular email that my system recognizes, it wouldn't open any attachment, just to avoid spam. So sometimes when you send me attachment, it's harder for me to open it. So all you need to do is just copy whatever it is onto the email, the body of the email, and send it to me so I can see it and I don't have to open any document attachments. And again, I don't open attachment because I'm trying to avoid spam getting into corrupting my my system. So please and please and please, as I said, I can help you with look at my CV. What do I need to add? I can help you with. Look at my lesson plan. Is it good enough? Those things I can help you with, but I can't find the job for you. Neither can I go look for a job for you. Okay, that's your responsibility, and that's what you need to do for yourself. Okay, enough of the rambling. Have a wonderful week ahead, and I will see you soon. Bye.